Read my aura.
Presented by Still a Frog.
There are, for all intents and purposes, 3 phases to a breakup. Phase 1, you stand before your mirror and look at, you revile the empty shell that you now are, that he has made you into. You then swan dive into your beloved bed, for it is truly the only thing that understands you, and proceed to cry your eyes out, secretly hoping in the back of your scorned psyche that he will reconsider and come rushing into your room. When that, of course, does not happen, you move on to phase 2, the hatred phase. For Grease fans, this is when you come to the inescapable conclusion that men are rats. Worse than that, they are fleas on rats. Worse than that, they're amoebas on fleas on rats. And potential lesbianism isn't looking so bad. Finally, while in your distraught state, seriously toying with the whole girl-on-girl thing, you ultimately realize that you like men a tad too much, at least in that way. You go to the last phase, phase 3, that half-hearted get-back-out-there phase. You know you're not ready. Your unshaven legs know you're not ready. The 5 saved text messages in a secret folder cryptically labeled miscellaneous on your phone know you're not ready. Your friends, though, are forcing you to bear down and push the last vestiges of him out of you for good. This is exactly where one of my nearest and dearest, Kim, was. Phase 3. Her scenario was an all-too-common one. Nick, I have no idea what his last name was because, frankly, she didn't know him all that long. You see, Kim is your typical stage 5 clinger, except she pretty much jumps right past stages 1 through 4 and lands with a fatal attraction-like thud squarely in stage 5. She means well. Her heart is gigantic, truly. So there is room for someone in there. Anyone. Literally the next guy to walk down the street. The mailman. She's not picky at this point. And so when the dating site reviews began pouring in by way of friendly emails, flirty banter, and invitations to meet up for whatever, Kim opened that big ol' heart of hers and let them right in. First, there was Tyler. I think that was his name. Tyler took her out for drinks, directly after which she proceeded to assign him the following ringtone. At last, my love has come along. So there went Tyler. Then I believe it was John. No. Johann. No. Joshua. Joshua was young, in that when you were graduating high school, my embryonic flippers were transforming into hands kind of way. Joshua was digging the whole cougar thing. In fact, according to Kim, that's literally how he phrased it. But at least he was a man, and he was handsome, and he washed once in a while, held down a steady job at Jiffy Lube. What wasn't to like? Precisely what Kim thought when she proposed he move in with her. After 3 dates. Ugh. Kim. Bye-bye, Joshua. Then the aforementioned Nick. Nick really did her in. He was older, more experienced, and we thought ostensibly good for her. They dated for several weeks. We, her cast of friends, held our collective breath. Maybe this was the one. Maybe Nick could look past her clinger nature and see how genuinely loving and giving she... Nope. Kim was quite clever in this particular relationship, I must hand it to her. Over the course of 6 weeks, she managed to move in with the guy without him knowing. You could call it genius if it wasn't so fucking cray-cray. First, it was a left-behind toothbrush, then a razor. Soon a pair of panties or 2 began to claim drawer space. Apparently, it was when he came home to find that her coffee table had replaced his and her cookware was perfectly hung upon his pot rack that he really got tipped off. And so here we were, full throttle, phase 3. Kim was 4 blue whales in. Whenever heartbreak hit, thus frequently, Kim would revert to her old college go-to, the blue whale. Tasted kind of like a liquor-infused package of sweet tarts. I noticed her starting to eye up her cell phone. "You are not drunk texting him," I scolded. Not that I was worried, because if he didn't have a restraining order against her by now, I figured there was a fairly good chance he'd blocked her number, maybe even changed his, perhaps went into the witness protection program. "I was just going to say goodbye," she explained, her best attempt at a poker face. "You've said goodbye," I reminded. "You've said I will miss you. I'm sorry it ended this way. Can we please try again? Things will be different. I'm really not a crazy stalker lady. Do you remember the barrage of messages you slammed him with last weekend?" "Yeah, but..." "Okay then, let's focus on just enjoying ourselves. A man-free evening," I smiled. But with Kim, there was generally no such thing. In fact, all I did was turn my head to get the bartender's attention. It had to only be 7.2 seconds that my gaze was diverted. Before I could reach out and wrangle her phone away, she'd hit send. "What the hell did you just do?" I barked. "Nothing," she grinned in that loose-lipped, alcohol-soaked way. "Let me see." I grabbed the offending device. Sure enough, everyone is entitled to at least one backslide. At Ray's on Delaware, followed by a wide smiling emoji and red heart. Oh boy, one guess who the recipient of said text was. Why? Why would you do that? But it was obviously no use trying to talk any sense into her. "My mama always used to say you should never throw the baby out with the bathwater," she muttered. What? What the hell did that even mean in this situation? "Is sex the baby here?" I asked, confused. "Yes, sex is the baby. Sex with Nick at least one last time is the damn baby here," she proclaimed, loud enough for about half the bar to hear. I just prayed that Nick was unlike any other man on the planet when receiving such a booty call and would simply ignore it. That could happen, right? Except that faster than Clark Kent changed into Superman, Nick came racing through the door. A little restraint, for God's sake, man. I think he was actually breathing heavily. Had he run all the way here? Just goes to show you, regardless of where a woman might fall on the psychometer, the promise of a passionate, albeit soon forgotten night of drunken sex somehow made even the clingiest of nut jobs seem doable, in every sense of the word. He took the seat next to her. I couldn't watch this. They immediately started playing touchy-feely with their hands. Ugh. Nick proceeded to buy another round for both of us, hoping to get her drunker, I assumed, and to dull the daggers that were shooting out of my eyes. After 2 more subsequent rounds, he got up to use the men's room. I finally had my opening. "You know where this is going to end up. He doesn't want to marry you. He doesn't even want to move in with you. He doesn't even want to remember you after tonight. You've been there and done that. Have you forgotten already?" "Well, yeah, I just don't want to feel sad anymore, at least not for tonight." "Can you honestly say that you're good with just a one-night stand in this situation? You're really going to live the motto we saw on all those Key West guys' t-shirts? Remember, an awkward morning is better than a lonely night?" "It'll be fine, and I'll deal with the fallout tomorrow, okay?" But she was rather unconvincing. The way her finger was slowly outlining his text message on her screen, the way she then, whether consciously or not, touched the lip of his abandoned glass. Oh, Kim. Nick returned, smirking and still seemingly adjusting his fly. What a dick. "I got it from here," he whispered near my ear. "Ready, babe?" He draped his arm around the now hope and vodka buoyed Kim. They left. Just like that, she got up, shot me an "I hope you understand, but even if you don't, I'm still going" look, and walked out the door with the guy who'd broken her heart merely a few weeks ago. "Grey Goose Martini?" I called out, plopping defeated onto my stool. You could tell she was going to leave with him as soon as he got here. A voice ringed in over my shoulder. "Excuse me?" I turned to face a younger-looking guy, probably mid-30s, clean-cut, kind of cute. I couldn't help but see what happened. You wouldn't have been able to stop that runaway train if you tried. "And how would you know?" I questioned. "I'm a professional voyeur," he replied with a smirk. "People watching in bars is my hobby." "What?" "I'm actually in advertising," he chuckled. "Some of our biggest accounts are distilleries and breweries, so I come to bars to do market research." "Really?" I snarked. "Yeah, see?" He held up his glass. Ice water. Here, let me give you a card. No need, Mr. Professional People Reader. Just read my aura. You're smart, you're loyal to a fault, and you're the kind of person your friends depend on. Oh, great. So you think I'm a Sunday school teacher, I responded. What about good-looking, sexy? Well, those too, of course, he grinned unabashedly. Why, thank you. Given that you are, by all appearances, a man, I half giggled. I'm surprised you didn't say something along the lines of, I was destined to go home with you. Well, I thought the custom for that was third date. I've heard that too, I replied. So, are you going to ask me out for the first one?